A new scandal involving military propagandists has erupted in Russia. Well-known Z-blogger Pozdnyakov has accused Kremlin host Vladimir Solovyov of large-scale embezzlement of funds allegedly raised to aid the army. According to him, Solovyov collected hundreds of millions of rubles from Russians under the guise of charitable collections, but most of the money ended up in his foundation. The remaining crumbs were used to make homemade buggies that were not suitable for combat use. Pozdnyakov published photographs of these combat vehicles. The photos show crudely welded metal frames, some missing steering wheels and seats. The wheels are from regular cars, the controls are bicycle style, and the cabin resembles a wheelbarrow with a motor. These off-road vehicles are parked outdoors and have already begun to rust. The Russian military has abandoned their use. Judging by the photos, these structures are more dangerous to the driver than to the enemy. Their low speed, lack of protection, and minimal durability make them easy targets for the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Ukrainian journalist Denis Kazansky drew attention to Pozdnyakov's revelation. He noted that Solovyov's loud threats and public hysterics were merely a charade to cover up his real business. Solovyov laundered millions of dollars through these deliveries. All the screaming and shouting on his airwaves, all the calls for nuclear war and mass murder are simply staged hysteria, a spectacle. In reality, it's just business as usual, drawing on blood, Kazansky emphasized. Recently, hysterical reaction of propagandist Vladimir Solovyov demonstrated that the Kremlin is seriously frightened by the possible transfer of American Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. Propagandist Vladimir Solovyov once again threatened the world with catastrophe on live television. He declared that if the West were to supply cruise missiles to Ukraine, humanity will disappear. According to the propagandist, transferring such missiles to Ukraine would allegedly be worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis. Former ambassadors are saying, what difference does it make to us what Putin and Lavrov say? We'll sell the missiles to whoever we want. Now countries will start acting like, what difference does it make to us? And how many days will it take for humanity to disappear? They just need to understand that handing over tomahawks is like releasing a Cuban Missile Crisis. We'll just bang, and that will be the end of it. By the way, if Great Britain is wiped out, I think all of humanity will applaud, Solovyov declared. Such statements are not random. Solovyov is not making spontaneous statements. He is voicing the sentiments of the Kremlin cabinet. The harsh reaction to the topic of American weapons indicates the Russian leadership's genuine fear of Ukraine's strengthening. The Kremlin understands that the introduction of tomahawks into Ukrainian service will dramatically alter the balance of power and make any Russian attack even more futile. US President Donald Trump has confirmed that he is considering transferring advanced missiles to Ukraine in response to Russia's ongoing aggression and the Kremlin's refusal to end the war.
In Pokrovsk, the main Russian mission for the summer campaign has officially failed, in direct violation of Putin's order and deadline. Instead of taking control of the entire Donbass, the Russians lost thousands of soldiers and hundreds of armored vehicles without being able to even capture Pokrovsk, Euromaidan press media outlet says. Ukrainian troops have launched a clearing operation across the Dobrpilia sector, especially around Volodymyrivka, which became a graveyard for Russian armor during the recent failed mechanized assaults. After days of relentless fighting, dozens of Russian tanks and armored vehicles now lie scattered and burning across the fields. Ukrainian infantry, supported by reconnaissance and FPV drones, are searching through the gray zone, targeting surviving Russians hiding in basements and bushes. Those who can still walk are fleeing, but not eastward toward their own lines, rather deeper into the salient toward Nikhanarivka and Zadyshak, seeking refuge among the already encircled Russian forces that have been trapped for weeks. Ukrainian soldiers report that this chaotic flight is only refilling the pocket with more troops, sealing their own fate. With limited ammunition, minimal food, and no escape routes, these Russians are essentially walking into their own death trap, Euromaidan press reports. Every additional Russian inside the pocket makes it easier for Ukrainians to locate and destroy them under the constant drone fire control. The Ukrainian General Staff reports steady progress, recapturing several square kilometers and consolidating control over Volodymyrivka and Mayak. Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky, who recently visited the front, confirmed that counter-sabotage and clearance operations are ongoing to eliminate Russian reconnaissance groups and isolated units still hiding in the area. Syrsky said that his forces will remain active after holding a field briefing with the commanders overseeing the Dobropilya counteroffensive. Since August 21, Ukrainian troops have neutralized nearly 13,945 Russian soldiers, with over 8,400 killed, 5,400 wounded, and 124 captured. The operation is now entering its consolidation phase, with units securing logistics routes and fortifying newly regained ground, Euromaidan press reports. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones continue hunting down stragglers and supply vehicles, ensuring no new Russian reinforcements can reach the front. The summer offensive, touted as the operation that would finally secure the rest of Donbass for the Russians, was supposed to start with the capture of Pokrovsk, a key logistical hub. From there, Russian generals planned to swing northeast to outflank the Ukrainian defensive belt stretching from Kostiantynivka to Sloviansk. Over 100,000 troops were committed to this goal, backed by months of talks promising swift results. Instead, the Russian army has failed to achieve a single strategic objective, only capturing fields, tree lines, and isolated settlements across the front. Even the brief Russian advance toward Dobropilya ended in humiliation, and what was supposed to be a breakthrough that needed to take Pokrovsk into a pocket ended in disaster. The failure could not have come at a worse time for Russian high command, as Putin personally set the Donbass capture deadline at before the winter, with Russian political leadership boasting that the Russian army would complete the mission within months. Overall, with the autumn rains turning the battlefield into mud, and Ukrainian artillery and drones maintaining total fire control, Russia's Donbass campaign has stalled completely. The offensive season will soon be over, and Russia's long-term goal to liberate Donbass is once again out of reach, Euromaidan press says. All Putin's army achieved was to dig itself deeper into the stalemate, literally and politically, as Ukraine's counteroffensives push forward and another of his promises turns into dust.